Welcome to our broadcast. I am here live with Transformers R Us, and today's topic of discussion is going to be the different eras of Transformers and possibly see about getting some figures sold. So, how are you doing this evening?
Yep. Sorry, guys. We're kind of playing around with some new platforms here. So we got Wolf with us, or Emperor Vader 520 as he's going by tonight. I'm not really sure what's going on with my camera here. It seems to kind of be wanting to move however it wants to. So maybe it's a loose base. So I'll fiddle around with some of that. I'm also trying to make sure that we don't have a hitch going live on Instagram and Transformers R Us. So it seems like everything is as it should be. So yeah, so we've got the best of both worlds. We've got our YouTube channel going, Transformers R Us. We're live on
Mm-hmm.
that, and we're broadcasting at the same time with Instagram, all while going through this crazy thing that yeah, that you guys are seeing. So um I don't know how much of a sorry if you see me divert my attention. We're waiting for one more guest to show up, but I don't know if y'all call last night's show. I rewatched it, which is something I usually don't do because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really nervous when I do these things, but I am concerned with the way it comes off, right? Like, oh, does he look like he's sleepy? Does he look like he's reading off something? Is he just whatever? So I'm more worried about the aesthetics and how it looks and is it presentable. And I got to tell you, it looked like I was sleepy. So I hopefully no one else. Hopefully I'm the only one that that got that, but it kind of is what it is. But anyway, so what I wanted to do tonight is it's really hard to carry on a conversation with someone that isn't there.
Yeah.
Right. So I was having a conversation with, hey, you guys comment, we'll talk about it. Well, the comments take forever to come in. And by the time you finally get to their comment, it goes to something else or whatever. So definitely need a co-host. The more the merrier. So we came up with this StreamYard deal that you see in the top left corner. And
Mm-hmm.
supposedly we can have, I don't know, up to 10 guests on the screen at one time, which may be more confusing, but we'll see. But the get my Dr. Pepper sip in.
Brought to you in part by Dr. Pepper and Gushers.
That's right. Absolutely. Got to have your pepper. But yeah, what where I was going last night was the different eras of
Mm-hmm.
Transformers. Obviously they started in 84. The cartoon movie in
Yeah.
86, which was essentially a 90-minute commercial. And then there was basically nothing as far as mainstream. Now, I'm not discounting the G2, the the Beast Wars cartoons or any of the afternoon schools. I'm talking about like major
Yeah.
projects that you would have seen
Mm-hmm.
all the way up until 2007, and it kind of breathed new life, gave Transformers a new breath,
Yes.
uh, so to speak, in their merchandising, their overall global awareness. And then it just kind of snowballed from there to the point that, I think the last couple of movies were just kind of rushed out there. You
Yeah.
start seeing some holes in plot points and so on and so forth, and things that are just kind of there just to say, they were there. Like, obviously, the first movie was sponsored in some part by GM because you
Yes.
had, the Camaro and the Humvee and the well, I mean, Ironhide was a Ford, but no, actually, it wasn't. It was a Silverado, wasn't it?
It was either that or GMC, some kind, I think.
Yeah, GMC like 3500 or something, or
Yeah.
650, 750, something like that. If I had one close by, I could tell you. But yeah, so Transformers '07 live action was, basically just a huge product placement movie,
Right.
with Transformers in it. Um, the 86 movie 86 movie was kind of the same thing. You didn't have the in your face product placement, but you kind of did in the behind the scenes with the big name voices, the over the top rock soundtrack that
Yep.
was basically what was pushing the movie out there. Because at that point, I mean, even in '86, Transformers was a hugely wildly popular toys for kids, but there were still a lot of people that had zero idea of what a transformer was, because
Right.
we had just gone from GoBots, to Transformers. People are still getting used to saying the word Transformers and not looking for some electrical circuits, bolted onto the side of their house.
Yeah.
They're still not associating that term with toys. And so the movie comes out, and of course they have to push it, with something that's relatable to the older folks, aka the parents that are taking the kids. So you put the rock soundtrack in there, and oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's Stan Bush, and now we've got these famous actors, we got Leonard Nimoy, everybody knows, oh, it's Spock from Star Trek. You even have Orson Welles, who I'm not going to go into his story, but
Yeah.
yeah, you should definitely do some research on Orson Welles while he was making that particular movie. From what I've read, he spent most of his time drunk, and it was the latter days of his life anyway. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he spent most time drunk, and when he did speak, it was barely, you know comprehensible. And it was just basically sounds and guttural tones coming from him. So, and they
Yeah.
had to redub his voice, so on and so forth. But what I wanted to know, or what, I just completely off topic, just figured out what this is. So this camera, and obviously it's just me in here. So I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the iPad with the camera set up, which is who I'm talking to. I've got
Hmm.
the laptop over here so I can see who joins and, hopefully put them in the presentation. And
Yeah.
I've got my big screen monitor so I can check on everything. So it very much looks like a producer's, wall over here. But I just noticed that the camera on the iPad is actually following me.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's crazy because the iPad is static in a stand. So but it's actually, yeah, it's weird because that's why I remember pre-show I was trying to show you some stuff and it kept moving.
Oh,
The
yeah.
camera was trying to find my face and not what I was trying to show you. I was like, dude, that's just, and at one point I had to like take my finger and like try to pinpoint the camera, and it kept like moving away, but the camera's doing that. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, back to what I was saying is
Hmm.
the whole subject of the video and what I wanted is where people started or became aware of Transformers. Was it a movie that kickstarted your interest, or was it the cartoons, or what was it? So I wanted to hear from you,
Hmm.
Wolf. I think we've got Chris Conti. Looks like he may be. Chris, I don't know if you're ready yet. Your a picture comes up, I'll add you. He's in the waiting room, so to speak, but he doesn't have a picture. But yeah, just want to hear from different people and where they hopped in
The
Some
stream.
technical difficulties coming
Okay.
on the way. Yep, we should be fine now. I don't know what all that is. It didn't start until Meatball showed up. Try to figure that out. Wolf, if you can hear me, you just keep chatting away and I'll figure out things on my end.
Sure. I guess we can start with my introduction into Transformers. I don't remember exactly when I was first introduced to it. I think it may have been the Michael Bay movie in 2007, and then the Transformers animated cartoon in 2008. But I remember when the 2007 movie came out, it was funny because my mother had to watch it before I could to see, okay, what happens in this
Yep.
movie? What movie, like, what part does he have to exit the room on? What part can he stay and keep watching? And
Parents and what they were doing.
and I found the movie to be quite intriguing. Just the the fact that it's all like a real world environment, and the way it was portrayed, it had actually made me think, okay, this actually happened. Don't know why the news never covered it, but apparently this actually happened, not realizing that it was actually a work of fiction.
Right.
And um, in 2008, when the Transformers animated cartoon came out at the time, I was so drawn into it. I loved there were some comedy aspects, but they were also starting to focus on some serious tones by season 2 or season 3 of the show, which I found to be very interesting.
Now, which
And
series was this? Sorry, I
uh
missed that part.
no, that's all right. Transformers animated. You
Animated.
had
Okay.
yeah, you had like the Autobots transform into search and rescue vehicles. This was long before rescue bots came out, that
Right.
everyone was transforming into like first responders and whatnot. So um, I found the show to be very interesting. And I think the very first time I was watching an episode of the show, I actually had to go to school. So I wasn't able to see what all was happening in the first episode. But from what I did catch, I'm like, okay, this seems very interesting. I want to keep watching. And of course, I over time I became invested in the show, and you had Megatron, who was reduced to nothing more than a head and a random hand in a laboratory. So you had the mighty leader of the Decepticons reduced to practically nothing in some human's lab, and I found that to be completely interesting, an interesting take on Megatron. And then the build up to his return as a full warrior, as a full robot, was just interesting in itself. He was reduced to nothing by Starscream, practically blown up by Starscream, and then he patiently bided his time until he was ready to come back full force. And what had happened was one of the humans in the show miraculously discovered his body, because when he had crash landed on Earth, his head was separated from his body. A random hand was separated from him, so the rest of his body was just somewhere.
Nice.
And apparently, according to the show, it was like 50 years later until the rest of his body was found. And what I remember was at the time he was still a fighter jet or like a Cybertronian jet at the time, but once his body arrived on Earth, or once his body was recovered, it was already formatted into his helicopter alt mode for the show.
Okay.
And I'm like, how does that work? I thought they had to scan a vehicle to become it. How does Megatron
Right.
get a pass from that?
I've
The
totally missed this whole the whole series. I don't think I've ever seen an episode
Mhm.
of Transformers animated. Was it backed up by comic books, or could you
um
be a complete novice and not know anything about Transformers and jump right in at episode 1?
um I think it would be easy to like jump right into the show with the level of knowledge that's available. It more of depends on like your interest. Like I know you had the 1984 cartoon series, and for me, Transformers Animated was the G1 cartoon series.
Right.
And one of the many things that really sticks out with the show were the proportions of the characters.
We got Chris just hopped on. Chris, can you hear us? We can't hear you. I'll have to work on your mic. You're interrupting Aiden's not Aiden. You're interrupting Wolf's monologue here. Can you hear us? Yeah, we can't hear you at all, Chris.
Yeah, technology isn't his friend,
I'm not sure
unfortunately.
what's going on with this thing. I didn't mute you or anything, I don't think. Yeah, you should be. Everything's good on my side, Chris.
Yeah, everything's good for me. I just can't hear him. That's all.
Yeah. Chris, work out your audio stuff. I'm gonna just kind of keep rolling or whatever.
Yeah.
With your mic settings. It looks like we might be having a little bit of trouble.
Mm.
It looks like everything just kind of stopped and reworked itself. This StreamYard, I don't know if I'm impressed with it or the
Right.
jury's still out. All right, so Chris just fell off. I did not kick him out. But
May
anyway,
have to refresh. So
yeah. So back to your story.
yeah. So the character proportions was very interesting. Like one that I can easily recall is unfortunately Rodimus Minor. He clearly went to the gym a lot, but it's also very clear with his appearance in the show and the design of his toy that he skipped leg day. Like his whole upper body is built, but he just skipped leg day as a whole, and I'm just like, eh.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
All right,
Yes,
I've
yes, we
got
can.
Chris now. So
Yeah.
all right, so everybody's going on. So
Sorry about that.
No, that's
just
all right,
that's
Chris.
all right. Just to recap, we're still working out the caveats with this whole StreamYard deal.
Yeah.
We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube live as we speak. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing. So I mean, you've only got what 7,000 pair of eyes on you,
Yeah.
approximately. But
No pressure.
but yeah, no pressure there. But yeah, we were just talking, and Aiden was talking about his jumping off point into Transformers and getting in. Obviously, I was a G1er there from '84, and then just kind of evolved from there. Aiden jumped in at Transformers animated series, was his introduction to the series. Chris, you and Liam, obviously you guys will have different starting points, but Chris, what was your
My dad had to go do something real quick. He kind of skedaddled.
Kind of left you in the spotlight.
And I don't do well with this stuff. Oh, that's scary. Well, since I'll talk about mine in his absence. Growing up, I ran into Transformers Prime because that was the newest. That was like the series when I was born. Well, it wasn't even created when I was born yet.
Yeah, I'm a kind of drift into Transformers Prime. I found the show's animation to be very interesting, but the level it was very clear the level of seriousness for the show, I guess, like where it was set in terms of how what kind of serious note they were going on, and what the entire focus was, who the intended audience was at the time. You know, people who had come off of Michael Bay films, may have forgotten animated, and then, you know, got reintroduced into Transformers Prime. So it was very clear kind of like who their intended audience was with the show at the time, but overall I found the show to be very phenomenal. I remember when, what was it? The 2015 series Robots in Disguise came out. The storyline was good. They had some comical moments here and there. Personally, I would have liked it if they stuck with the animation style of Transformers Prime.
Oh
yeah. We lost. We just lost Mr. Wade. I mean, I forgot he doesn't like being called Mr. Wade. All right. Technology.
Look who finally decided to show up. Okay. And he disappeared again. Got them. Yes. Yeah. We disconnected. Oh, we disconnected from Wade?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, StreamYard has not been pleasant so far, even before we went live. Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? What, my favorite Ninja Turtle? Yeah, because I have him. It was always a toss-up between Leonardo and Michelangelo, because I like Michelangelo's like attitude and goofiness, and just like always proud for pizza. But then there's like Leonardo. He had double swords, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely the best weapon. But in the video game, the old Nintendo, original Nintendo video game, Donatello had the best was the best to use because his staff was so long. You could actually reach and hit dudes that were on a level below you. It was kind of like cheating. Oh, man, I keep going the wrong way. There you go.
That's all right.
It's always been Raphael.
Raphael. Well, see, I like Raphael was always like the toughest, right? He was always
Yeah.
like the one that was. He was just like he was the guy that just didn't take any guff. And then Donatello was like the brainy one.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo was like the leader, like the.
And then
Then you had Michelangelo. Yeah, he just like give me the pizza, and I'm just gonna crack some jokes. Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we were we were talking earlier about our introductions into the Transformers franchise.
Oh right. Yeah, man. Dude, mine was. I think what happened is I ended up getting a GoBot, as a matter of fact,
Okay.
as a gift, and I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And then I think I ended up getting another one, and then it was like that Christmas. I think it was that same Christmas I ended up getting like my first real Transformer, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, these are what they're supposed to be. Okay,
Yeah.
so
now we're talking.
yeah, and so then it was the hunt was on, but it was like
Yeah.
at that point it was like a toss up between Transformers and GI Joes. Transformers always won because
it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We can go.
But like GI Joe was cool because they had like guns and stuff and like rolling around vehicles.
But you
and, like,
have
and like and, like
Yeah.
I enjoyed like I enjoyed the figures. I enjoyed the figures, and then once I figured out that you could like slip the rubber band off, and then you could like swap people's pants and stuff. Yeah, dude.
You could just sit there, flip it back and forth, and it will never get boring.
Yep.
True. That's very, very true. That's true.
No matter how many times. Like,
ooh, I like how you got that. That's cool.
I had a old Legends class barricade. It was like that white one. That was like one of my first Transformers, I think. It was actually 8 inch, but I was just using it all the time.
Well,
so no matter how many times I went back and forth with that, it would always be fun every single time.
Yep. Well, then you got all excited because then you'd start like making them all weird, like Legimus Prime and stuff.
Oh yes, Legimus Prime.
Yes,
their walk mode basically.
Walk mode, like vehicle mode just with legs.
Yep.
And so just like it's Legimus Prime. Did you flip his head up? No head. Oh, okay.
You'd have to transform the whole entire deck.
All right. Yeah, dude. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Oh, really? Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
all right.
Also.
Huh?
All right.
You guys, oh,
Kind of muddled.
Yeah.
all right.
There we go.
Headphones up. So we good now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry about that. So I don't know. Everything just completely blacked out on me. So I'm back to using the good old PC here.
Telling you, man, I have an effect on electronics, man. Even from afar.
I can see that. I can see that.
Just by osmosis, man.
I certainly appreciate the interference there, Chris.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure.
Anyway, so what were you guys talking about before I killed everything and started it back up?
We were talking about our introduction into Transformers for the most part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just keep that going. I'm gonna try to work on everything else while y'all are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first Transformer that I ever received was Slug.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it Slag? Which one's
His
the
original name was Slag. Before
I'm so bad with names. Like only
I-
2 years ago did I start getting my son's names correct. Yeah.
he used to go
yeah.
There's my jump off right there. That's it in the flesh. Yep. I have no idea where any of his stuff went, but he's still there and he still has his horns.
They're floppy, but
They're floppy. Yeah, well, yeah, dude, it's OG, and I played with that. Yep.
They're floppy, but
I remember it took me about a year before I actually realized that like his hands actually popped out. I was just like, oh, okay, he's just got like feet for arms. That's cool. I was a very bright kid. This was the problem.
same.
Yes. But yeah, that right there is my very first Transformer. And then I think is he in here?
They're all there.
Oh, you got him up there? Okay.
Which one are you?
Cycle. Is he up there?
No,
yeah.
He's broken.
What? No,
He's been broken.
I had more. Didn't I have like 2 of them?
No.
Bogus, dude.
He's been broken.
No.
Yeah, it looks like he suffered a loss of a limb.
You can put them back together.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just rolls around to stoppies all the time. He just rolls around just on his front wheels all the time.
Leader one with the old sneak attack from behind.
Hey, man, you know, someplace you got to be careful with that rear sneak attack.
Yeah. All right, so for it looks like this is going to be somewhat stable for the time being.
Okay.
But had a giveaway that we're going to try to give away at some point during this show. Must be present, must be an active viewer to win. So it's a Funko Pop bookshelf.
Oh no!
Oh, did he freeze again? These Wi-Fi routers must be on the fucks.
First appearance
There.
on the comic book, and that's what the Funko is inside. So Target exclusive.
Should be.
Dang, man.
Their Instagram or YouTube land.
Okay.
All right. So I think we've got all the bugs worked out. I think. We will see. All right. So different eras, right? So the different eras going up into, and I kind of touched on this briefly last night.
Technology.
Now people have seen, what the Transformers do.
I think it might be
They're aware by now of the spark or the matrix of leadership and stuff like that. But how did all that come into existence? So again, with the new movie coming out September 20th, Transformers 1, I believe it's going to kind of put it all in canon. So, or put it out there so everyone is on the same playing field, so to speak. There shouldn't be any didn't so on and so forth. So thoughts on history coming back to repeat itself, or you think this is just another cash grab by Hasbro to
grab my charger cord right quick.
Oh, God, I did all the noises I should not be making.
No thoughts.
Here we go.
Okay. It was pausing in and out so much, like pausing and freezing so much that I couldn't. I actually get the full question.
Yeah. I was just talking about history basically repeating itself.
Right.
You know, no matter what era of Transformers you came into, it's all going back to history repeating itself and going back to Transformers 1 that comes out the 20th of this month. And possibly an attempt to set everything that we've already seen go off and the way it happens and the way Transformers became Transformers and all that. So just wanting your thoughts on that. And
yeah, it is kind of it's almost kind of like come full circle. So now it's almost kind of like the reintroduction for like this new generation of fans, and they're going to be able to grow up with it like we did, but at kind of like an earlier stage in the game, right? Because these are all like when they're like teenager Transformers, I guess, right? So it's kind of cool that I think that this new generation is going to kind of literally grow up with the Transformers as they grow up. Maybe, I don't know.
ask us, what is our favorite 86 Dinobot?
All of them.
Do you have a favorite 86 Dinobot?
Not really.
I mean,
not really anything interesting.
I'd say I'm a little partial.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally like all of them, but if I had to pick a solid favorite, it would have to be Grimlock.
I'd say maybe mine would be Swoop.
Swoop? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.